What's up, everybody? Bringing you the week 5 footage. Got a little new microphone, trying out something different here. So let's take you through, and I know I mentioned a couple comments to some people, some peaking stuff that I'll talk about as we get the throws and stuff going in the background. This is a longer video. I guess I videoed a lot this week. It seemed to grow and grow and grow, but didn't do a lot. This was more of a deload week, but left the main work in. Deload in the weight room, but left the main work in. So let's talk it through. This is the Sunday, the 13th, I believe. Went out through hammer. I'm not sure. Can't remember if I threw anything else. I think I threw the weights as well. On this hammer day, what I practiced was first 2 winds, nice and easy, and just trying to go harder on only the 3rd wind, trying to see how fast I can go. Watching the video of it, I was like the whole day, I was like, man, I'm just slow. I'm going to just take that from being out of practice. Distances, everything, not too bad. And then I did my cluster squats for the week. So I've got one more week of clusters before I kind of take a deload week on the main week, main lifts. So deloaded the volume this week. So throws and squats on day 1. Day 2 I actually took completely off. Day 3 was plyos and throws at the firehouse. So hit the week 8, day 1 of my plyo program I've been following. And I got another question. That was the plus plyos program, return to sport program. I found it on the internet and followed it, excuse me, from a recommendation from somebody. And at the firehouse that day, if you hear my dog walking in the background, he cannot stand when somebody's talking or recording something for some reason. But with the throws on that Wednesday day, it was shot put in the parking lot. And then I found a steal of a Rogue sandbag, Rogue throwing sandbag. So I got it. I don't even know how much it weighs, but I kind of threw it for height and for distance. Had something click on the for distance, just nice and easy throws that day, and we'll get to those in a little bit. Day 4, I hit my snatch clusters and some throws. Day 5 was at the firehouse bench press and pull-ups, and day 6 was the second day of the plyo program plus weight over bar, power clean clusters, push press clusters, and pulled in some conventional deadlifts because sumo has been annoying. So, I guess I threw wob on this day as well. I think I took 8 hammer throws on day 1. I think I took 5 or 6 wob throws. Same with the weights, if I remember correctly. So weight over bar has been going absolutely terrible for me lately. I am in an absolute slump. It's like I completely, out of anything, if I had to backtrack from this quad, it's like I can't figure out how to put the force and the power into the throw. So this was a day that I just hadn't been able to touch all the throws as much as I'd like. So this was a day that I went out and tried to touch the throws. I might have only thrown heavyweight, maybe through the 49 a little bit after that. I can't remember because it's been a week since I did this and didn't watch the footage before recording this voiceover. But let's kind of get in and talk about peaking, since that was something that some people wanted to hear my thoughts and what I do for it. So I'll probably try to do another separate video on this just to have it as its own little video. I personally, for the past couple of years, have transitioned kind of to some French contrast training around peaking plan. So if you don't know what that is, it's kind of a heavy lift, a weighted, let's just jump, heavy weighted plyo, then heavy lift, body weight plyo, weighted plyo, and then an unweighted plyo. I mean, that's as simple as we can try to call it. So with that, I think that's the 49. It definitely was a 49. I did not throw lightweight on this day. But I like doing that. I like just feeling fast and explosive. And then, I mean, realistically, I follow general periodization, I kind of have to pick your time for when you want to try to quote unquote peak. So maybe it's, for me, this October, I've got 3 weeks of back-to-back games. And what I'll do is my accessory work will be cut down to non-existent, maybe 2 sets of stuff at best. Accessory work tends to get heavier because it's a lot less reps. So instead of maybe doing 3 or 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps on a walking lunge or a dumbbell shoulder press or something like that, I'll cut down to 2 sets of 5. So here's the cluster squats. This is the first week after. I did 2-week wave in the middle there with the weight releasers. So got back. Oh, actually, I forgot. I pulled a little bit on this day. I just want to see what deadlifts would feel like. on this day. My wife's down there at the gym too. It's fun to have her back in the gym a little bit, watch her do some power lifts. But worked up and just pulled moderate 440, 200 kilo deadlift for a triple here. Not fully conventional in a long time. I was pretty happy with how it felt in the grand scheme. So 8 o'clock at night. Can't tell. It's still bright out, but it was like 100 degrees today. It was miserable. Busy, long day at work. So we're about to get the shot put in, some throws, maybe some hammer winds, and a little extra something special. So a long, busy day, a lot going on. Still getting it in. And as soon as I start the recording, here comes the dog again. I had to stop there for that little extra video. So it's funny to look at this video, the way the phone was picking up the light. It's like 8 o'clock at night throwing these throws, and it looks like it's the middle of the day, brightness out. So, shut up, buddy. I hear you. I'm recording. I'm working right now. Why do you only interrupt me when this is beeping now when I'm talking? Only time he does this. Sorry, I digress. So, let's see. Shot put today wasn't amazing. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Worked on one specific cue, and I don't know. It was kind of a so-so. Got the work in, and sometimes that's what it takes. Oh, that's what this week. This was all non-reverse throws, which went pretty bad compared to what I've hit in the past. You notice I'm falling off of these. Just not the best from a non-reverse standpoint, and I actually reversed one of them inadvertently, and that was the best one. And that's kind of how that's supposed to go. But sorry, I was saying before I had my little excerpt video there that when I am peaking, I cut the volume of my accessory work down a lot, and same with the throws. So I'm kind of right now, as you can kind of tell from this video, I'm trying to build a volume of throws right now for about the next month before I start cutting back on it. And when I do start cutting back, it goes to that competition mindset where, okay, hey, I'm going to go out and practice today. I have maybe 8 total throws. This is, I think, a practice I took about 15, 20 throws of the shot put first. And I might say, okay, hey, you're only allowed 8. You're allowed 3 variations of warm-ups, and you're allowed 5 throws, and my intensity goes up. Those 5 throws, I take a little more rest, and it becomes a go out and throw hard, 100% effort in that peaking phase. So I'll probably do that the 2 weeks leading up to those 3 back-to-back games in October. And with those 2 weeks, I'll lead that and continue that. So I'll have a 5-week phase. I'll have to look at the weeks and what I've got going on. But really that 5 weeks will be go out and whatever your variation you're doing that day. So if I'm throwing a 49-pound weight for distance, it will still be 100% effort with that implement. So this is when I was talking that little something special. I found this throw bag on Facebook Marketplace, already filled. I don't know how much it is. I think it's 25 pounds, 30 pounds. I found this bag for $40. I had to jump all over it. That's why I was like, man, this is going to be a nice little tool. I can keep it in my truck, take it to the firehouse. I have 2 at the gym, the Cerberus bags at the gym for our strongman people, but I have all the weights at the gym. But this allows me to throw at the firehouses and not tear stuff up. Probably want to weight it a little bit heavier because I'm going to use it obviously for weight over bar. So I was just using the light pole here. If you can't see it because of the way the phone was oriented, I was using it for some wob, just kind of a reference point. It was how good were my throws. And then this is where I really want to use this, obviously for weights. I know I've seen Scott Farr use it for hammers, but I hit some 1-turns here today. Obviously the bag being big kind of feels like, slows you down a little bit, feels a little different. And this was not that heavy. And I wasn't trying all out. I was really working on my footwork. So you can tell I'm pretty sweaty. And the rubber handle was rubbing my hand raw. So I said, okay, after 2 throws, let's try the straps. Okay, that went horrible and not going to work. So I just had to chalk up, and I had to keep drying my whole arm off because like sweat running down my hand. Chalk. I was trying not to rip my palm off in terms of just rubbing it raw. So I only got 10 throws in with it, and that's probably going to be about the max because, like I said, rubbing your hand raw. But this was a nice little variation to have. A nice little tool to have. I know some people throw chain bundles that won't tear up when it lands as much. So this is something was nice to add to the arsenal just to get volume in when I'm working at firehouses because I've been working a lot. So back to that peaking talk. So I tend to drop the volume and increase intensity. Pretty typical of any peak. With the weight room stuff, I mean, yes, I like to go heavy, but also I personally train with a velocity measuring device. And what that allows me to do is kind of auto regulate myself. And when I'm auto regulating with the velocity, I can keep myself from grinding too much. I try to still remain explosive. Example, secret, one thing I give myself on my max effort heavy work is I don't let myself go below 0.4 meters per second. I kind of anecdotally in my head took that a couple years ago. And now that I've seen more and more stuff with it, it's a good number. I have to add probably, maybe compare it to a 9 RPE. If you look at a perceived effort for somebody who doesn't have something to measure their speed. So that's kind of something I use to keep myself in check for not going too heavy. But then the Olympic lift stuff, I'm still playing with that. I'll still wave that and still like using a higher velocity with Olympic lifting stuff instead of grinding too hard. I did get the itch today as I'm recording this. Man, I wonder if I do some full clean and jerks and some full snatches with my knees hold up. Is it really smart to add that in right now? And I was like, well, maybe that'll be an off-season thing. Try to push those back up again. But let's look at these lightweights here. I think this was the same day I did the snatches through lightweight and through heavyweight. This was kind of a rough day, honestly. I was trying to today, this cue I really worked was trying to drive off my left leg. So if you followed along long enough, my left quad has had nerve damage. It's finally coming back. I actually measured it, I think, on Friday of this week, and at one point I was down 2 inches in circumference of my left leg compared to my right, and now it's down to, depending on how you measure, an inch to 3/4 of an inch. So I need to keep measuring that, but what we're doing is things are coming back. So if you want to say, hey, my leg half back, I think strength-wise I'm coming back pretty well, or figured out how to work around it. Still don't feel the power, like in these sprints and the throws, like pushing off the left to the front is still not 100% there. Like I'm mentally trying to do it, and my leg is still not, I'm not there. So it's tough to keep the mindset positive, and then trying not to, I think I did a pretty decent job about not getting too worked up with the, technique. I took time off not practicing for technique. And actually, I got you completely wrong on my throws. So I don't know what I really focused on that first day of hammer throws. This was the day I practiced the throws where it was just 2 easies and then one full. So I had to just stop and edit my videos because I forgot to edit this section. And every time I start back up, here comes the dog. If you hear his little nails clicking in the background. So these hammers were all right. And then, yeah, this was the 4th day of my training week, really 3rd day, because I had a Monday, it took completely off. I took Saturday completely off as well. And I'm going to try to do some of that as well, kind of condense some days, even though it might be longer training days, but having some days completely off of rest here, kind of as my deload is like, kind of do like a revolving. So this week has been cut down the accessory work. Next week will be building back in the accessory work and not overdoing it, but trying to keep them throws volume up. And then getting into the week after that will be deloading, the main week after the 6th week of this block of clusters. So here's, these looked a little rough. My right shoulder's been banged up a little bit. I think sleeping on it's a little bit funky. It's been acting up. So I've got some different stretches I've been doing, but I got to talk a little fast, catch up on everything. So had snatches that day after the throws, hang snatches up to 100 kilos for 4 sets of 3x1, which is awesome. I'm happy to get back and hit that weight for that volume. Moved into some bench clusters at 315, and then a set of pull-ups at 18 again, so it's not. Then the last day, I trained it Friday, hit plyos first, didn't show that. All over the place, I had some other stuff in the gym. Tried some different things, just seeing what I could do. Also, I'm pretty before. But 112 kilos, around 250 pounds, felt pretty smooth for the clusters. Cleans went good, and then hit some deadlifts. Hit very end of this video will be deadlift 10 singles every 30 seconds ish. At 170 kilos, 375, something like that. So just kind of getting back into doing some conventional, since I've been trying to do some sumo. And towards the very end, my glute hamstring started bothering me. So got to just kind of keep an eye on that, try to do the right things, get it better. Sorry, this one was a long one. Just lots of reps this week, and try to break stuff down a little bit more. Might have to start doing this twice a week since these are getting so long. Some people don't have the time to watch them, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the peaking talk. We'll do a video on peaking as well, and we'll catch you next time next week.